Hello everyone and welcome back to week 2 of Skill of the Week. In today's lesson, we are going to be looking at dividing whole numbers with 2 and 3 digit divisors, as well as division patterns with 0. And I just want to go over just some general terminology that you need to know for division. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that you need to know is, a lot of times I've noticed just from teaching 5th grade, but I have heard it in the older grades where, you know, when you're dividing, someone will refer to a number as like whatever number is in the house and not the actual name. So I just want to go over what is a divisor, what is a dividend, and I'm sure you all know what a quotient is. Your dividend is the number that is being divided. That's the number that you're breaking into smaller pieces. That's your dividend. That's the number that's in the house. And then the divisor says how many parts you are trying to break the dividend into. So for example, if I have, like 16 chicken nuggets and I want to put them into groups of 4, my dividend is 16 because that's what I'm starting with. My divisor is 4 because that's how many groups I want. My answer is always the quotient. So when you have a division problem set up like this, your dividend is in here, your divisor is outside, and your quotient is right here. If you're doing like a typical, how you would write it out with the division sign, your dividend comes first, and then your divisor, and then your quotient. I always remember that, like, if you were writing this in ABC order, dividend comes before divisor and quotient. Like, this would be written in ABC order: dividend, divisor, quotient. You can never really say that the dividend is the larger number because any numbers can be divided. It doesn't matter if your dividend is bigger or smaller, a decimal, a fraction, whatever. You can divide any two numbers always. So that is this way. Remember, dividend, divisor, quotient in ABC order. And then when it's written as a fraction, because you know that fractions are division, your dividend is on top. That's your numerator. Your denominator is your divisor, and your quotient is your answer. Okay, so make sure that when you are referring to numbers in division that you are using the terms dividend, divisor, and quotient. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do today, which should be a review from previous grades, yikes, is division pattern. Okay, so, and I know you have this on an IXL. So obviously, you know, 4 divided by 2 is just going to give me 2. So if I have 40 divided by 2, sorry, I just want to change markers. Obviously, I know that you know that in your head, but what I always do is I underline my non-zero digits. So I know that 4 divided by 2 is 2. And since I have 1 0, I'm going to bring that over, and that's going to be my answer. Same thing. So over here, if I have 400 divided by 2, and again, I know you can do these mentally. I just want you to know, just a trick. So I know 4 divided by 2 is 2. I have my 2 zeros, so I'm going to bring them over here for my answer. It's going to be 200. If I have 4,000 divided by 2, again, I'm underlining my non-zeros. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then I have 1, 2, 3 zeros, so there's going to be 3 zeros in my quotient. I just switched up with different numbers. So if I have 24,000 divided by 80, I have 24 divided by 8, which is going to give me 3. Now, this is a trick. I'm sure you remember it, but it's how I always remember. So I have 3 zeros here and 1 0 here. So I always say this 0 and this 0 will cancel out. I'm going to take my 2 zeros here, and I'm going to put them in my answer, which is going to give me 300. So same thing over here. If I have 360,000 divided by 600, I'm underlining my non-zeros. So 36 divided by 6, I know is 6. And I have 2 zeros here, so I'm going to cancel. These are going to cancel out these two. And I'm left with 2 zeros. So there's going to be 2 zeros in my answer. My answer is going to be 600. For this one, now this is something that I always find people do. 5, you're going to underline, but 5 doesn't go into 1. It goes into 10. So I have to underline 10. 10 divided by 5 is going to give me 2. I have 1 0 here, 1 0 here. They're going to cancel out. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So would be 20,000. So this is probably a little bit of a review, but I just want to go over that before we get started. Okay. Division time. Okay, so remember, this is my dividend and this is my divisor. So when I start dividing, I'm going to look at my number 21. I'm going to say, does 21 go into 5? It doesn't. So you either put usually an X or you put a 0. I'm just going to put an X. It's very important, I'm sure you've heard this throughout the years, that you make sure that you line up your numbers. So my first answer, my quotient, is going to be over this 0. So does 21 go into 5? We know it doesn't. 21 goes into 50. How many times? I'm going to say, okay, I know it goes in twice. So I'm going to put my 2 here, my first answer, my quotient. I know 2 times 21 is going to give me 42. 50 minus 42 is going to give me 8. Now I bring down my next number, which is a 1. I'm going to say to myself, 21 goes into 81 how many times? And I know that it's 3. So I'm going to put my 3 right here on top of my 1. I know 3 times 21 is going to give me 63. And then 81 minus 63, so I'm just going to subtract. And I got 18. I'm going to bring down my 6. Okay, 21 goes into 186. How many times? Let's say I want to just guess. I'm going to say, I think it's 8. So if I want to do on the side, 21 times 8, I know 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 168. So even if I wasn't sure, I could do 21 times 9. It's always good just to do all your numbers just to check. So I know 189 is too high, so I'm going to go with my 8. And again, it's going to go right on top of my 6. 8 times 21 is 168. I'm going to subtract. And I get 189, which I actually know 21 times 9 is 189, so that goes in evenly. So my answer is 2,389. That's my quotient. Remember, all of my numbers are on top. So that is another thing to know, just in case you get confused. Let's say that my 9 ended up being here. I would say, I must have not been done with the problem. All right, we are going to come over here, and I have 51,168 divided by 12. So I'm going to say, how many times does 12 go into 5? It doesn't. I'm going to put an X. How many times does 12 go into 51? I know that that would go in 4 times, because I know 12 times 4 is 48. And I know 51 minus 48 is going to give me 3. And then you bring down your next number. Remember, you can only bring down one number at a time. 12 goes into 31. How many times? It goes in 2 times. 2 times 12 is going to give me 24. And I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to get 7. I'm going to bring down my 6. I'm going to say, how many times does 12 go into 76? And I know it goes in 8 times, because, oh no, sorry, I did not mean to say 8. I meant to say 6. I'm very sorry. I know that 6 times 12 is 72. And 76 minus 72 is going to give me 4. And I'm going to bring down my 8. 12 goes into 48 4 times. So my answer is 4,264. How's everyone doing so far? Good? Everyone's following along? All right. So I'm going to do this one. I want to have you press pause. I want you to try and do this. Remember, you are dividing your divisor into your dividend. Your answer is your quotient, but make sure you're lining everything up. Press pause, and then we'll go over it. Okay, everyone, welcome back. All right, so I'm going to say 49. Does it go into 1? No. 49 into 10 does not go into 10 either, so another X. 49 into 101, I know that's going to go in 2 times. If you want to check on the side, I'm going to go 49 times 2. I know 9 times 2 is 18. Carry my 1, I got 98. So I'm going to put my 2 up here. I'm going to subtract 98, and I know that 101 minus 98 is going to give me 3. I'm going to bring down my 3. Okay, so when you're in a situation like this, so 49 does not, I brought down my 3, okay? 49 doesn't go into 33. That does not mean that I can bring down another number. All that means is I'm going to say 49 goes into 33 0 times, because it doesn't go in. I'm going to put my 0 up here. 0 times 49 is going to give me 0, so I'm going to subtract. So obviously going to have 33, and now I can bring down my next number, which is a 5. So how many times does 49 go into 335? I'm going to tell you a trick when I have bigger numbers. I always say to myself, like, 49 is closer to 50, so I think of it as 5, and I'd say, okay, how many times does 5 go into 33? And I know that's 6 times. That's how I do it when I'm trying to guess, so we'll try and see if that works. So 49 times 6, I know 9 times 6 is 54. I'm carrying my 5. 6 times 4 is 24 plus 5 is 294. So that's that. Can go up a little higher and try 49 times 7. 9 times 7 is 63. That would be 343. So that's too high. So it is going to be 6. I was right. So I'm going to put my 6 up here. 6 times 49 is 294. I'm going to subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. 13 minus 9 is 4. And I'm going to bring down the 6. So I'm going to say 49. How many times is 49 going to 416? And I'm going to try, so like 5 would go into 41 8 times. So I'm going to try over here, 49 times 8. Oh, I'm running out of room. And I know 9 times 8 is 72. I'm carrying my 7. 8 times 4 is 32 plus 7 is 392. So I'm going to do 8. 8 times 49 is 392. I'm going to subtract. 6 minus 2 is going to give me 4.
Go.
And then 1 minus 9 I can't do, so I'm going to cross out the 4, make it a 3. 11 minus 9 is 2. 3 minus 3 is 0, so I'm going to go up here. And I have 2,068 and 24 over 49, because remember I subtracted, so my 24 would be my remainder, and it's over 49, which is my divisor. Okay, and next, now press stop. A few more. I want you to pause this one. So I have 200,000 divided by 56. Pause, and then we'll come back. All right, so I'm going to say 156. Now, again, we've been doing 2-digit divisors. Now we're upping it, and we're going to have a 3-digit divisor. So 156, we know it doesn't go into 2. We know it doesn't go into 20. It's actually kind of easy for us. And we know 156 is obviously going to go into 200 just one time. So 1 times 156 is 156. So I'm going to subtract, regroup. I know 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 5 is 4. So I have 440. I'm going to say, how many times do I think that goes in? We'll try, let's just say we want to try to do 3 times. So 156 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. I'm carrying the 1. 5 times 3 is 15 plus 1 is 16. Carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 468. It's a little too high. So we're just going to do 156 times 2, which is going to give us 10, 11, 312. So I'm going to put my 3, again, right on top. So I have my 2, and I'm going to subtract 312. 10 minus 2 is 8. 3 minus 1 is 2. 4 minus 3 is 1. So I have 128. I'm going to bring down my next 0. So I have 1,280. I have a big number. So again, I'm going to do my trick that I did before. So like 156. I'm going to round this to 2. So I would say like 2 would go into 12 6 times. So let's try 156 times 6. So 6 times 6 is 36. I'm going to carry my 3. 5 times 6 is 30 plus 3 is 33. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3 is 9. So I have 936. I think I could go a little higher. So I'm going to try 156 times 7. I'm going to actually put it up here. I have so much multiplication. 6 times 7 is 42. I'm going to put my 2 and carry my 4. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 4 is 39, carrying my 3. And then 7 times 1 is 7, plus 3 is 10. So I have 1,092. And I would say, can I go higher? What do you guys think? Should we try it? All right, so I'm going to do 156 times 8. 6 times 8 is 48. Carry my 4. 5 times 8 is 40, plus 4 is 44. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 4 is 12. So I have 1,248. So I could have done it. So put my 8 here. 8 times 156 is 1,248. You just did a lot right there. So 10 minus 8 is 2. 7 minus 4 is 3. So I have 32. And I'm going to bring down this 0. And I'm going to say, how many times does 156 go into 320? I know from all this math that I just did that 156 goes into 322 times. And I know 2 times 156 is 312. So 320 minus 312 is going to give me 8. So I kind of ran out of room. So my answer is going to be, I'm going to write it down here. I'm going to have 1,282. My remainder is going to be my numerator and my fractions, and I'm going to do over 156. Okay, so that is it for our skills for the week. So what I need you to remember is, what is this number called? Right here. It is my dividend. This is my divisor, and this is my quotient. When you are dividing, make sure that you are very neat. You're lining everything up very in a straight line. I always say in a notebook, if you want to turn it sideways, just so you have all your work in the notebook lines, if you turn a notebook sideways, that helps. You have IXLs to practice, which all pertain to everything we just did. There's some on divisibility rules with zero, reciprocals from last week, as well as division. I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good weekend. Bye.